Good morning. My name is Sonia from TechnologyCatalogue.com, and I would like to welcome you to our new webinar about assets and materials tracking. Before leaving you with Mark McIntyre from Trackem, I will briefly introduce TechnologyCatalogue.com. What we want to do in the company is make finding technology in the energy industry very easy and immediate. Together with, of course, all the required support to deploy these technologies. Indeed, a current problem is that there is a very wide range of available solutions, which can cause confusion about what are the best technology investments for your business. So what I would like to do is to visit our website to find and compare new technologies that will so enhance your business. And of course, it's a nice plus that is a great opportunity to be introduced to new technologies without having to travel. Just to explain you a little bit how the webinar is gonna be, I will now let the stage to Mark, who will present you the importance of asset and materials tracking, the various technologies available with their benefits and also their limitations, and how project delays and cost blowouts can be avoided. The webinar will last around 15 minutes, and we're going to have 5 final minutes for a Q&A session. If you have any question, please feel free to submit them via the chat you find on your right. And at the end of the webinar, of course, we'll share with you all the information needed, the presentation, and all the assets we have been using. And I really hope you enjoy, and I'll talk to you later. So Mark, please, you can start the presentation.
Thank you, Sonia. Hi, g'day from Australia, and thank you for making the time to hear about Trackem. As Sonia mentioned, today I'm going to talk about enterprise resource tracking, my name is Mark McIntyre. I'm the Global VP of Sales at Trackem. Trackem is used across the construction, mining, oil and gas industries, and we work with asset owners, contractors, EPCs and EPCMs across the construction of greenfield, brownfield and operations of assets. We help you answer these questions. Do I have the items I need to get the job done? Are they at the site, and can I move them to the work front to commence and complete the work order that I've been allocated? What is the location, history, condition and status of an item? Has it arrived and it's in good order so that I can then move it to the work front to complete the work order? Who last had custody of the item, when and where? Has it been well maintained? Has it been, who last interacted with that item? So I know what I need to do. And then what action is required on this item? Where does it need to go? Who does it need to go to? Has it been maintained? Is it safe to install? In some situations where we have long lead items that arrive to a construction site well in advance, they need to be, preservation inspections need to be carried out on a regular basis to maintain the warranty and integrity of that item before it gets installed. What documentation do I have about the item? Do I have the preservation photos that have been carried out? Do I have the inspections? Do I have test reports? Are there installation guides attached to the item that I can access? What is the progress of the job? How much of the material has been installed? How much of the material is remaining to be installed? These and many more questions. Trackem Solutions is broken up into 3 categories: materials, for material management from vendors through to installation; assets and stores, the tracking of plant and equipment, tracking of hire equipment, tool utilization, tool allocation, and also consumables and personal protective equipment; time and performance, so looking at the utilization of resources against work orders and the performance of teams in the field. We work with our clients from the very early stages in pre-execution right through to closeout of many of the projects. Trackum uses a combination of technologies, but with all our clients, we start with building a solid foundation. So the Trackum software underpins a serial identification, which can be barcode or QR code. And then depending on the environmentals, the items that we're tracking, the value of those items, and the requirements for the job, we work with our clients to advise them on what IoT technology can be deployed, be it passive or active RFID, Bluetooth, if they have the infrastructure in place, GPS trackers for intrinsically safe environments using satellite technology for communication. These and many others can be deployed and then integrated with the Trackum platform to provide a live feed of data as to the location of those items. So let's talk a little bit more about our software. So Trackum consists of a software as a service website that can be accessed via mobile or through a web browser. One of the most important features that we have within our platform is the ability to work offline with the mobile client. This is important in many of our clients' environments as they don't have any coverage at all. They're quite remote and very hostile. The application is also deployed on Android or iOS devices and used on industrial scanners to collect the data when in the field. Trackum is used in fabrication. We have a number of our clients that have integrated with their third-party fabrication yards in various locations around the world to track the progress of fabrication work based on tonnage complete, and that provides them with progress updates, also QA/QC inspections before it leaves the fabrication facility, and the ability to attach documentation. While on the move, it gives visibility that it's left the fabrication or it's moved through various checkpoints or moved to the next process within the fabrication of the material, and that can be the movement of pipes to a coating specialist in another country, and then tracking it leaving the coating specialist and moving to the laydown yard at site. This provides us with visibility of movement through the checkpoints and that it has passed through the gates. When it arrives on site, it provides us with the ability to manage overshorts and damage reporting, receipting of goods, laydown yard management, so which laydown yard have the items arrived at. For some of our clients, this can be kilometres apart. They can also be kilometres long or square kilometres in size. They're very, very large environments, and your team can spend hours trying to search for an item only to find that it's in a totally opposite direction. Also very important in construction projects is 3D modeling, or the digital twin, as some people like to call it. So being able to integrate with your Navisworks model and track the status of the project or progress of the project, and being able to visualize based on color. You can just see in this simple model to the right here, the blue is showing that those items have been dispatched. The yellow is showing that plinth has been installed. And when you look at a large construction project with lots of pieces of material, being able to step back and visually look at that provides some valuable insights into the performance of the project. Scanning of barcodes in the field, so being able to do it on a mobile device, as we talked about earlier, so iOS or Android, scanning the barcode, or using laser scanners. The ability to carry out inspections through the mobile client, so being able to go to the inspection from our home page, search the relevant material, or scan the barcode, and then fill out the form related to that material. And then having a detailed digital audit trail, so an indelible record of all the activities that have happened against that piece of material. It is very valuable for looking back over the history of how something got to be installed. We also have within our platform the ability to generate heat maps for live tracking, and which in this example here on the left, we can see the movement of a forklift around warehouses, and you can see where it's highlighted in red the heavy traffic areas. This also provides some insights into where maintenance may need to be carried out to resurface areas due to the level of traffic that has happened. Being able to put in place geofencing so that we can track when items are scanned within a location. It's not only just GPS coordinates of the scan, it's actually a named location that can give you some insights. We've seen this used with our clients where they're using hired items. So the hire items, once they move into the yard, are on hire, and then when they move out of the yard, they're off hire. And then also being able to do route tracking within the application. Reporting is probably one of the most important elements of our platform. We have embedded Power BI into our application, and we work with our clients to generate specific reports that they need to provide the insights. This is an example of status and location report for materials. Another example of our overshot and damage reporting within the application, and then onto materials and the fabrication progress report to show how the production of the fabrication is progressing based on steel tonnage. And an example of asset utilization. So in this example here, we can see the utilization and the cost of hire equipment in a simple dashboard to provide the project managers with a status check of where they're currently at. One of our clients has a number of assets and they carry out regular shutdowns in the oil and gas industry referred to as turnaround events. And what they did while using the Trackum application is that they compared similar shutdown events to determine what were the impacts of using a materials tracking application on their projects. And they were able to identify that they had 0 work orders incomplete due to parts. They saved 3 man-hours per supervisor per shift. But most importantly, they increased the total tool time by 20%. And also at the end of this project, they were able to recover $300,000 worth of unused parts. And given the hostile environment that they currently operate, if these were left in the field, in a very short time frame, they would have been destroyed and of no value. So they're actually able to recover those parts, restock or return them to the vendor. In this case study here, we had a client who did a comparison of using their traditional paper-based cataloging or stock take of laydown yard. To fill in this sheet, it took them 42 minutes to handwrite the items, and that was before they put them into a spreadsheet or uploaded them and shared them out with the team. Whereas doing the second evaluation of the stock take, they completed it using Trackum within 2 minutes and 52 seconds. And that was updated, and the whole project team then had visibility on where those items were last inspected. So I want to thank you for your time and hand you back to Sonia for questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I see that we already have a couple of questions in the chat box. So the first one is, often material arriving will not be in its end phase, for example, pipes for pipe spools construction on site. Can you split a material in percentage in what's left of it and what has gone into a pipe spool and identify this pipe spool with a new tracking number? And then it continues. This is very important on large construction sites to keep track of pipe spools and the percentage of completed spools.
Absolutely, that's a really good question. Yes, the application itself does support splitting of items. Pipe spools is a great example, and also cables for cable drums. For example, one of our clients has very expensive cable, and it's only produced twice a year, so they need to manage the cable drums and make sure that the correct lengths are allocated to the sites that they're going to be installed in. So yeah, that is definitely a feature within our application.
Nice. Second question, how was the 20% increase in tool time calculated? I think this is referring to when you were showing the case study.
Correct. That was actually done by our client. So they did a comparison over multiple projects to determine the impact on their utilization. So we weren't involved in that calculation.
Perfect. And then I may have a question for you. So does TrackM have to supply the barcodes?
No. So in many situations, the fabricator is already using their own barcodes. So once we know what that barcode is, we can add that into the TrackM platform and track using their barcode.
Nice. New question popping in. Do you have a tool to have an overview of the yard and indication where a specific piece of material is lying geographically?
Yeah, so we have embedded Google Maps within our application, so it'll show visually where the item was last scanned and its location. We can also incorporate, if you have aerial photographs, we can incorporate overlays into the map as well, because in many situations the maps that are provided by Google aren't as current, and clients will be using drones to take aerial photographs of the progress of the construction project.
Okay. And then I also may have a second question for you. With the inspections functionality you showed, is it possible to schedule maintenance and preservation inspections?
Yes, absolutely. So maintenance and preservations can be scheduled within the application and reported against.
Perfect. I would wait if we have maybe another question. Then I have like a final question for you. Let's see if somebody else is curious. Yes. How difficult is it to tie this into a 3D model for 4D schedule improvement?
So for the 3D model, the majority of our clients have used Navisworks. So we take a unique ID from the BIM model, and we incorporate that into TrackM. Then we provide a update against that ID back into the model. It's fairly straightforward, but yeah.
Okay. Then another question from Peter Bitter. Material without barcodes. Can you provide specific barcodes yourself to keep track?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have, in most circumstances on construction projects, the team will utilize the vendor barcodes that are provided, but also they will use their own barcodes on site. So they'll print at site the barcodes and put them on the material. It's also important to be able to quickly put new barcodes on if they're to fall off in the field or for whatever they become damaged. Being able to search through the application, identify the material, and then put a new barcode on is a very simple process that can be done through the mobile app in the field. Right.
Then I would ask you a final question. Then unfortunately we have to end this webinar. So how easy is to onboard new suppliers or vendors?
Yeah, good question. Typically we allow 4 to 6 weeks, and generally that is working with our clients to understand the project, develop the gates that they need to implement, and then the statuses and naming conventions and uploading the data. Standing up the platform itself is done within days, but the process of configuring it to align with your project, we allow a little bit of time to do that.
Perfect. So yeah, I think that the time we got available is running out. So I would like to thank you, Mark, and of course thank you everybody for being here this morning. If you would like to discover more about our platform, feel free to head to our website TechnologyCatalogue.com, and all the materials used in the webinar will be shared with you very soon after the webinar. And so thank you so much, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you, Sonia.
Bye-bye.